Welcome, dear parents. Welcome all of you to our workshop, a special workshop. And we're having a very important topic, alternatives to punishment. In fact, we had this session almost about 3-4 years back. It is already available in our portal, but this is going to be a revived session from Dr. Lalita Pachut. So probably I can call this alternative to punishment 2.0. Okay, maybe the second version. So what we are expecting from her. So welcome, ma'am. Welcome after a very long time. And how many of you are attending your Parenting for You workshop for the first time? Can I have some comment on the chat box? Please type first time in the chat box. Are there anyone who have not joined our program yet and still attending this program? Yeah, so Somashri Nandi, yes, first time. Anybody else? Okay, so there are a lot of people who are attending first time. Welcome all of you. Okay, so this is one such session what we have usually the weekends, and today's topic is alternative to punishment. And to give a small introduction about Dr. Lalita Pachut, she is one of the very prominent, eminent personalities in the field of education, and she is basically an educator herself with an experience of more than around 40 odd years, and she designs curriculums to most of the education institutions. Please correct me if I'm wrong, ma'am. Okay. Schools in South India, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, many of the schools, they use her curriculum. Okay, she trains school teachers on how to interact with the children on phonetics and a lot of other stuff. And here we bring in her because we presume that mother is the first teacher, home is the first school. So the first person, if anyone in there in the world to learn about the child development is mother. Okay. So with that, we're going to be connecting you all parents with eminent speakers like Dr. Lalita Pachut. And I mean, I have an amazing, you're not part of our Facebook group, ma'am. I need to answer this to every parent once in a while. When is doctor coming back? Why don't we have a session? So bring her back in our platform. Okay. So at the end of the session, you'll be able to give your feedback. I request all of you to make sure that you have your notepad and paper and pen ready. Because it's very important, and I mean it's mind-blowing. The session, I can guarantee it's going to be a mind-blowing experience for all of you. And without much ado, ma'am, please welcome. The floor is yours. Get started. And just 1 minute before that, and this is one session. I mean, apart from this, we also have our weekly mastermind support calls, which usually happens on Thursdays. And there could be a probable changes in the timings, what we are likely to bring it up next week, which I should be updating you on our social media platform as well. Okay, please go ahead, ma'am. The floor is yours. Yeah.
Let me just share my screen. Just a second. Okay, is this visible? Is my screen visible?
Yet to come.
Yet to come? What is visible?
No, nothing.
Nothing is visible. Okay.
Yeah, you can share. You are the co-host now.
Share. Wait, just a second.
Yeah. You just click on the share, and you can share the screen. The whole screen you can share.
Yeah. Just a second.
You can go to the PPT what you opened up already.
Just 1 second. Share.
Any assistance, ma'am?
No, it says share system audio, and then it says I'm unable to share. Choose what to share. This is what I want to share. Okay.
You just share. Just share the whole screen.
Whole screen, entire screen. Okay. Share system audio.
That's automatic, I think.
But it's not sharing for some reason. It's
not. Once you click on the share button, you have something called a screen there. Screen, whiteboard, iPhone. Yeah, you can just select on the screen and share. That's it.
Okay. Share.
Yeah, now it's loading up. Yeah. Yes. Perfect. Probably you can go full screen as well. Yes. Yeah, you can on your video and get started. I think you're sharing your screen. You just have to, yeah, that's perfect. You're sharing the screen is okay. But when you share the screen, your entire computer is in front of us. You make sure that you click on that PPT. Yeah, now your screen is open.
Okay.
Yeah, you click on that PPT. Yeah, now, yeah, perfect.
Perfect, okay?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Do I start?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, but then, I don't get my own this thing then. How do I don't get my own view. I don't see myself.
You will be able to get it.
Can the audience see me? I don't want to see myself. I don't
yeah, we are able to see you.
see myself. Can the audience see me?
Yeah,
Can the audience
I am
see
able
me?
to see you. In fact, I pinned your video. Nothing to worry. I pinned your video. You're visible to everyone. You can just get started.
Okay. Now, before we get into alternatives to punishment, I need to just ask parents, when you'll get angry? As an adult, when you get angry? You just think for a while. You get angry when your needs are not met. You get angry when you feel that people are not listening to you. You get angry when you're hurt. You get angry when you want attention and nobody is giving it to you. You get angry when you feel that nobody is listening to your pain. And that is the same reason why your child gets angry. But what you as a parent do is you focus on the behavior. You do not focus on your child's feeling. You do not focus on what is the trigger that made your child feel the way he or she is feeling. And as a result, your child is behaving in a particular way. And today's talk is all about identifying triggers that lead to a child feeling either physically bad or emotionally bad and then misbehaving. So we are going to look at what could be some of the triggers in your house, what could be some of the triggers that your own behavior as a parent is causing these triggers to erupt in your child, and how you can help your child manage feelings and emotions. Now, when a child is able to manage feelings and emotions, especially all those negative emotions and feelings, if you give a platform for your child to express, then you'll find that misbehavior, that bad feeling that caused the misbehavior, will stop. And that is what we're going to be looking at in today's talk. Okay, so we are going to move from both punishment and discipline. We're going to move from that to actually taking care of your child's physical and emotional needs, which trigger misbehavior. Always, whenever your child is misbehaving, try and put yourself into that your child's shoe. There is a reason why you as an adult misbehaves, and there is a reason why your child is misbehaving. Human beings generally don't like misbehaving. Nobody feels good misbehaving, because when we misbehave, it leaves us feeling uncomfortable. It leaves us feeling helpless. We have lost control. We have lost control of the situation. And that is the same with your child. As your child misbehaves, the child is losing control of that situation. And you need to just stop for a while and ask yourself, why is my child behaving like this? There is an unmet need. There is an unmet need, and I need to meet that need. And that is what we are going to be looking at today. If you meet your child's needs, even discipline would not be required, because you have slowly started conditioning your child into acceptable behavior. Behavior that is acceptable to you, and behavior that makes your child feel very comfortable. Okay, so we are going to be focusing on that in today's workshop. And the art of parenting with unconditional love. Your child, yes, all parents tend to get angry at times. They lose their temper. Nobody is perfect. But even when you're angry, the message you give your child is, I love you. I love you. And that is what you need to be doing. Even when you're disciplining your child, give the message that I love you. What is the difference between punishment and discipline? Punishment is very negative. You take the child to task after the child has done something wrong. Discipline is when you condition the child to do what is right. When you train a child to do what is expected. To train a child to do what is expected, you need to make your expectations clear. You know, very often the mistake we make in communication is, whether it is with your child, whether it is with your spouse, whether it is with your family members, we do not make our expectations clear. This is what I am expecting. This is what I need. This is what is making me uncomfortable. This kind of behavior hurts me. We do not make our expectations clear. When you do this, I feel so helpless. When you say this, I feel hurt. We do not express this. We react to another person's negative behavior. Now, when we react to another person's negative behavior, the other person does not know what it is that triggered your reaction. It is like two negative behaviors clashing. And the same thing happens when you punish your child, when you lose your temper with your child. It's like two negative behaviors clashing and nothing good comes of it. So before we react to a child's misbehavior, let's go deep into that child's psyche and understand why a child misbehaves. Okay, and let's put punishment out of our lives. Punishment is negative. Punishment is demeaning. It destroys a child's self-esteem, and it does not correct misbehavior. It does not correct an unwanted behavior. The child will stop doing it so long as the child is afraid of you, or the child will stop doing that particular behavior in your presence. But once you're absent, or once the child grows up and that fear is no longer there, that behavior will continue. So let's focus on discipline. And here, when I'm talking about discipline, I'm talking more about conditioning your child from a very young age. From a very young age, condition your child about what is the correct thing to do, how to do it. This is how you do it. This is what is going to happen when you don't do it like this. This is what is expected of you. So all the time, if the child has very clear guidelines, you'll find that from a very early age, the child just gets into the habit of doing things in a particular way so that the child's life is more comfortable. Now, look, I'm focusing more on the child rather than the parent. So you are conditioning your child to do things in a particular way so that the child grows up with a sense of well-being. The child grows up with a sense of empowerment. The child grows up with a feeling that, yes, I have control over my life. And this is what you must nurture in your child, this feeling that I have control over my life. I can make informed choices. I have that power to make sensible decisions in my life. My parents have given me that tool. And for that, you need to start conditioning your child. And that really is what discipline is all about. And you need to start conditioning your child from a very young age. Okay. Now, a little bit about the difference between punishment and discipline. Now here, punishment instills a penalty for a child's offense. So once the child has committed a mistake, what you do is you punish the child. So you make the child pay for the mistake. So you are controlling the child. You are not teaching a child to control himself or herself. It is reactive and destroys a child's self-esteem. Now, healthy discipline involves you give very clear rules. So what you as a parent from a very young age Have very clear rules in the house and everybody follows it, even the adults. You cannot have one set of rules for children and one set of rules for adults. And one simple rule, if you say, yes, the TV gets switched off at 7:30 and nobody watches TV after 7:30, this applies even to adults. So you can't have one set of rules for adults and one set of rules for children. And make these rules very clear. These are the rules of the house. And anybody breaking the rule will have to pay certain consequences. And these consequences are going to apply even to the adults. Now, when you do this, the child grows up with a very strong sense of what is acceptable behavior, what is not acceptable, and also a sense of fairness, because it is not only the children who have to bear the consequences if rules are broken, but even the adults in the house have to bear the consequences if these rules are broken. Now, when you do this, the child learns how to make good decisions about things to do in life. Okay, so discipline is proactive, it builds self-esteem, it teaches a child control over his or her life. Okay, and once a child from a very young age is raised in a house with very when I say rules, I don't mean hard and rigid rules. I mean safe rules. Remember, parents, you can have very hard and rigid rules that can break a child. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about safe rules. And when you make a rule, always explain to a child why you are making that rule. Children need to know. Don't say, because I said so, because it is good. No, that's not the way you answer a child. If you have a rule in the house, explain to the child why you have a rule, why it benefits everybody in the house. Then the child is much more likely to follow that rule. If you do not explain to the child why you have particular rules in the house, then the child has this feeling that these are arbitrary rules. They don't make sense to me. And the child will start testing your patience and start breaking those rules. So remember, if you have a rule in the house, explain to a child why you have the rule and how everybody in the family benefits by having this rule. And you'll be surprised how quick a child is willing to follow that rule. Okay. So remember, have rules which are safe, have rules which are for the well-being of everybody, have rules that you explain to your child, and have rules that build a sense of security around the family, not just your child. It should be a sense of security that you build around every single family member. And rules are for everybody, not just for your children. Rules, household rules are for everybody. And this is the first cornerstone of getting your child to do what you want the child to do. You're conditioning them. And if you start with healthy, positive conditioning, you'll find that a child gets into the groove of doing things in a way that it has in a way that it has to be done. And this power struggle that you have, this defiance that you have, it'll come down to minimum. It'll be absolutely minimum, and you will not struggle with your child. Okay, so that is the first thing you need to do with your child. Now, look at the difference between discipline and punishment. Okay, discipline gives reasons. Discipline keeps the child's safety at the core of the explanation. Discipline explains. Discipline is logical and sensible. Look at punishment. Punishment threatens. Punishment does not give a reason. Punishment does not make the child feel safe. Punishment, excuse me, punishment only makes the child defiant. So long as you're around, the child will obey. Once you're not there, the child will stop obeying. Okay. So look at the difference. Look at the way the language, look at the way the parent communicates. So in discipline, you have to keep the safety vest on in case you fall in the water. Here, you're keeping the child's safety at the crux of that statement. Look at punishment. If you don't keep your safety vest on, we are going home. Here, there is a threat, no explanation, and the child now starts to become defiant. No, you can't draw on the wall. That will ruin the wall. You drew on the wall, time out. Go to your punishment corner. No TV. Okay, look at the third one. It's time to do your chores. We all help out around the house. We're giving a reason. When everybody helps, work gets done quickly. If you don't do your chores, you can't go to the birthday party. Look at this communication. There is a threat and there is a punishment. There is a penalty. So change your communication, keeping the child's safety at the crux of your communication. Give reasons. And when you give a reason, let the message come across that this is for your good, this is for your safety, and this is for the good of the family. Your child is more likely to listen to you rather than defy you. Okay, making expectations clear. This is very, very important, especially with children. Give them very clear instructions. Tell them this is what I expect from you. This is what will keep you safe. This is what will ensure that the work that you do is correct. If you do it like this, it will be neat. If you do this, it'll be easier. If you make your expectations clear, if you make your instructions clear, if you say that in this house, this is what is required, your child will much more likely listen to you and not defy you. When you make your expectations clear, from the time your children are toddlers, that is, even when your child is 1 year old, the minute your child begins to understand what you are saying, you can make your expectations clear. For example, there could be a gadget that is at the child's level. The child is trying to get it. It is expensive. Tell your child, no, that will break. If you want to look at it, I'll take it and I'll show it to you. Children are curious. They want to see things. They want to experiment. They want to know what this particular gadget is all about. Take it, keep it in your hands, show it to your child. And if you want, you can also explain the different buttons that are there in the gadget. This is the button you press to start. This is the button you press to stop it. So in your presence, show what the child wants to see, explain a little bit about it, keep it back, and preferably, if a gadget is expensive and likely to break, keep it out of the reach of children. But if it is within the reach of a child, then there is no harm in showing it to the child, because children are by nature very curious. Okay, now this is a very, very important slide. Unmet needs lead to undesirable behavior. And this is very true even for an adult. As adults, if our needs are unmet, it could be physical needs or emotional needs, we become angry human beings. It's the same with your child. So we're going to look at what could be some of the unmet physical needs of your child and what could be some of the unmet emotional needs of your child. If you meet these needs, you'll realize that your child's misbehavior will come down to about 80 to 90%. It's so easy to make a child behave. Okay, so let's look at some of the unmet needs of the child. Now, there's something called 4 goals of misbehavior. One is the goal of the child and what the child really needs. Okay, and how you feel and how you react. One is a reaction and the other is a response. Okay, now here the child needs attention. The child is wanting attention. But actually what is happening here is the child is wanting to belong. It's wanting to be part of what is happening. And this very often happens when guests come. When guests come, unless you involve your child completely in the greeting of the guests and in talking to the guests and in perhaps serving some snacks to the guest, you'll find that your child will continue to crave attention. Or when you're completely involved in talking to somebody, perhaps on your mobile phone, and the child feels that, look, I'm not getting enough attention, your child will begin to misbehave. So that is what the child needs. How do you feel? You get very angry, very irritated. You may shout at the child. You may ask your child to keep quiet. But what is going to be the result? Your child will increase the misbehavior or stop temporarily and then continue afterwards. Now, you can ignore that behavior. Don't reprimand the child, or you can tell the child that this is what you're doing, this is how long you're going to be doing it, and get your child to sit next to you and give your child something to do. And what you need to be doing as a parent is, when your child misbehaves, just ignore that behavior. When your child behaves well, recognize good behavior. Parents, one of the biggest mistakes you'll make is you'll do not recognize good behavior, but you will constantly recognize bad behavior. Each time your child behaves well, recognize it and acknowledge it. How nicely you have kept your shoe on the rack. How nicely you have taken the cup of tea and put it on the table. Do you do that? No. But if the child spills it, you will say, why did you spill it? Why did you not put your shoe back on the rack? We are very good at catching children wrong. We don't catch them right. So from today, from this moment, what I want you to do is, you're going to keep catching them right. You are going to catch them right 5 times before you catch them wrong once. And you know what will happen? Your child, when the child realizes that I get attention only when I behave well, the child will start behaving well. One of the reasons they start misbehaving is you don't give them attention when they behave well. We ignore them. But when they misbehave, you give attention. So the message you have given your child is, please misbehave, then I'll give you attention. Change it. The message you're going to start giving your child from this moment is, behave, I will give you attention. Misbehave, I won't give you attention. And you'll find that your child really begins to modulate and modify behavior just because your child wants your attention. Okay. Now there is something called power struggle everywhere. Your child is feeling helpless because all the time the child has to listen to a lot of diktats and a lot of directions. Do this, sit there, drink your milk, don't waste food, keep quiet. Imagine, put yourself in your child's shoe. Throughout the day, if you're going to be listening to this, won't you feel helpless? The same thing is happening to your child. So give your child some amount of control over life. Give them choices. But when a child begins this power tussle with you, you feel provoked, you feel challenged. You start having a power tussle. Do this or I'll punish you. Keep quiet and do as I say. You must do it because I said so. All this makes your child feel so helpless and angry. You are not helping your child. And when you start shouting and threatening, the child will stop the behavior temporarily, but it is not modifying the behavior permanently. Okay? So if you feel you're really getting angry, just remove yourself from the situation until you calm down. And as you remove yourself, perhaps your child will also calm down. When both of you are calm, you really need to sit down and have a dialogue. Dialogue about what? Sit with your child and ask your child, what made him or her angry? How he or she is feeling. Remember, bad feelings translate into bad behavior. So there's something inside your child that is provoking this behavior. So ask your child, how are you feeling inside? Why did you do this? How can I help you feel better? You can start these dialogues even with children as little as 2 years old. So when you start addressing the feeling in the child understands that you're acknowledging that bad feeling that is inside, and you're helping the child overcome it, modulate it, lessen it. Okay. Revenge. Your child is angry and wants revenge. Maybe might start biting you or hitting you, because somewhere the child has felt very hurt. And because the child is so hurt, the child wants revenge. It is a kind of self-protection. How do you feel when the child starts hitting you and biting you? You feel angry. What do? You might hit back. You might threaten. What is the result? More misbehavior. No, don't get hurt. Get your child to calm down. Maybe you can have a hitting corner in the house where the child can hit and bite and beat. And once the child has calmed down, talk. Parents, it's very important to talk of negative feelings. You know what Sigmund Freud, I'm sure you must have heard of that very, very famous psychologist. What Sigmund Freud said is, if you do not allow negative feelings to express themselves, they will come out later on in life in very ugly ways. If your child keeps on suppressing negative behavior, later on in life it comes out as mental health problems. Is that what you want for your child? No, no. Please allow your child to express negative emotions. Sometimes the child may say terrible things about you. That's okay. Let the child express. Ask the child, what did I do to make you say that? And you'll be very surprised. You may have done something, that really hurt your child. We parents are not angels, dear parents. We have hurt our children in many, many ways. In many ways, we have hurt them. When they are young, they keep quiet. They cannot express. But as they get older, they will express. They will fight back. They will rebel. When you shout, they will shout back. Mainly because there is no communication happening. There is only two human beings expressing negative emotions and not taking the time to understand one another. So from right this moment when your child is small, allow your child to express negative emotions. Ask your child why he or she is feeling like this. Ask them, what about you? What about your behavior? What about the behavior of adults in this house caused that emotion? We adults tend to take children for granted. We boss, we dominate, we label, we humiliate, we criticize, we hurt, and we still expect our children to behave? Aren't we terrible? Just think about it. That little human being takes such a beating, it feels so bad inside, and it now starts expressing it in misbehavior. I think you need to go beyond the behavior, and you need to really look at that little hurt creature inside. And if you keep on looking at that little hurt creature inside and address those bad feelings and address that hurt, you'll find that the child, one, will stop misbehaving, and the child grows up with a wonderful sense of self-esteem. The child grows up with a feeling of being able to express emotions and being able to understand other people's emotions. That's going to really turn your child into a wonderful, wonderful human being. That should be your goal. Okay. Now, the fourth is inadequacy. A task is too much for your child. I can't do it. I don't have the skill. So I avoid. This very often happens when, there is perhaps homework to be done. Or maybe there is another task that the child has to do and can't do it. The child starts avoiding. The child gives excuses. What your child needs is, break this task into simpler tasks for me. Make it easy for me. Give me time. Understand that I don't have the skill to do this. Okay? What you do is you become desperate. My child can't do this. Other children are doing this. Parents, stop comparing. Your child is not other people's children. Don't compare apples and oranges. Your child is your child. Your child may need more time than other people's children to do a particular task. Do not compare your child. Do not expect your child to do what other children are doing. You're being very unjust. Give your child time to accomplish a task that he or she feels is too much for me. Okay, be patient, encourage, build skills, and if a task is too much for your child, break it up into smaller tasks. Okay, so that is the way you need to be addressing all those feelings of anger and maybe the hurt and maybe the feeling of inadequacy that your child is feeling, which is the trigger for the misbehavior, address the trigger, not the behavior. If you address the trigger, that behavior will stop. Okay? Now look at this. Troublesome children are troubled children. Troublesome children are troubled children. If your child is troubled, the child is going to be troublesome. You see the behavior. You do not see what is inside the child. That feeling, that bad feeling that is expressing itself as a particular behavior. Remember, children act out emotions. Parents, children act out emotions. If they are feeling good inside, they behave good. If they are feeling bad inside, they behave bad. Don't address the behavior, address the feeling. Get into the habit of speaking to your child about how it is feeling inside. Don't neglect that. Don't ignore that. Okay? A happy child is never a troublesome child. A happy child is never a troublesome child. Is your child a happy child? Ask yourself, are you a happy parent? Parents, you need to be a happy parent. Only then will your child be a happy child. No, life cannot always be good. It never will be. It never can be. Life will have its ups and downs, its joys and sorrows. And on days when you're not feeling all that great, share how you're feeling with your child. Maybe we might have had an argument with the boss and then we come home and we are irritated and angry. Speak to your child and say, that boss of mine, he made me very angry today. So that is why I'm angry. I'm not angry with you. When we are angry and irritated, children tend to internalize those feelings. Unless you explain to a child feels, my father is angry with me, I did something. My mother is angry with me, I did something. And then the child begins to feel bad. Then the child becomes clingy. Then the child starts craving attention. Then the child, becomes irritable. Whereas if you take the trouble to actually explain to the child, today I don't feel happy because this happened. Then the child understands, yes, today my mother, father is not happy. Let me comfort my mother, father. Let me not misbehave. Children as young as 3 can understand. Parents, even a child as young as 2 can understand. But we don't share. Like a child, we are feeling bad, we start misbehaving. And the child only sees the behavior. And the child begins to react. Look, we are all children. At some point, we are all children inside. And that is what you need to understand about your child also. Okay? What does a troubled child mean? A troubled child is either going through a physical discomfort or an emotional distress. So when your child comes across as a troubled child, either the child is physically distressed or emotionally distressed. Okay? So when a child misbehaves, just ask yourself, is there something physically that is not okay with the child? Or is there something emotionally that is not okay with this child? Let me find out. Let me find out and then let me solve this problem. Okay? Troubled children act out emotional or physical trauma. When a child is very young, it cannot express, especially if it is physical trauma. If a little child is as 6 months, a little child as young as 6 months has a ear problem, you'll find that the child very often touches the ear and starts crying. It keeps touching the ear and starts crying. The child can't tell you it has a earache. The child is acting out that physical trauma. If it is an emotional trauma, you'll find that the child, starts having panic attacks, or the child will not go to a particular human being, or the child will not go to a particular place, or the child will cling on to you, or the child starts crying when a particular person or a particular thing is shown to it. The child is acting it out because the child cannot tell you. So always observe, what is my child acting out? What trauma is my child trying to express through these actions? You need to be a very sensitive, very, very sensitive parent to understand the trauma inside a little child. Okay? Look at this equation. Feelings equals behavior. Feelings equals behavior. Good feelings equals good behavior. And bad feelings equals bad behavior. So when your child is behaving badly, it's because your child is not feeling good. Your child is not feeling good. Now, think of some of the physical discomforts. Think of some of the ways your child could be physically uncomfortable, and think of some of the ways that your child could be emotionally distressed. Okay, let's look at it. Causes of physical discomfort. Maybe your child is hungry, or it could be your child is not hungry and you're forcing your child to eat. Or maybe something you have prepared, your child doesn't like it very much. And so the child is throwing a tantrum. Maybe your child is tired and you're trying to make the child do something when the child just doesn't want to. The child wants to be left alone. Maybe your child is sleepy. Maybe the child has some kind of physical pain. Your child may not be well. Children can't express unwellness. A little child can't tell you, I have fever. Or sometimes a child feels feverish, but it does not manifest. A child can't tell you that I have a stomach pain, or the child can't tell you that I have a body pain, or a child can't tell you that I have a headache, or my head is feeling heavy, or I'm feeling nauseous, or the child can't express. The only way it expresses is through irritation, through some kind of misbehavior. Uncomfortable clothing. Children, um, you need to be a little careful when you're buying clothing for children. Try to avoid synthetic stuff. And when you're buying anything for a child, always put your hand inside to see if there is any kind of material that pricks. If everything inside is comfortable, little children's bodies get heated up very fast. So don't overclothe your child, because the body gets heated up very fast. And even when you're buying clothing, make sure that you have clothing that is very soft and comfortable. Try to avoid synthetics because it cannot absorb sweat. Don't put too much of clothing on your child. And inner wear should always be soft cotton. Inner wear should always be soft cotton. And when your child really tells you, I'm feeling hot, the child is feeling hot. So don't overclothe your child, and be careful about the kind of clothing and the kind of shoes. Sometimes new shoes can be very uncomfortable, and many children don't like to wear shoes primarily because that little feet is growing and it becomes very uncomfortable in shoes. It's always best to have open sandals for a child because that makes the child's feet comfortable. Okay? Maybe the child is feeling too hot or too cold, or things are not at the child's comfort level, and the child has to constantly keep asking an adult for things. Maybe the child wants all its things within its own comfort, physical comfort level. So make sure whatever belongs to the child is kept in a way that is accessible to the child, because it's very irritating to constantly ask an adult for things. Okay, so take care of that. Now, more than physical trauma, it is emotional trauma that really shows up as bad behavior. Okay, and one of the basic fears that little children have is fear of abandonment. All the time, even if the parent goes out for 10 minutes, the child is convinced that I'll never see my parent again. So it's very important to tell your child where you're going, how long you're going to be. And if you get delayed, immediately call your child and tell your child, look, I'm a little delayed, but I'll come back. Keep in touch with your child, because this fear of abandonment is something that really, really is very common to to most children. Sibling rivalry. If you have two children, make sure that both the children have their own physical space where their things are kept. Children don't like to share, and they like to have their things in their own space. And make sure from a very young age the child gets into the habit of asking the other sibling permission before they take things. And parents, make sure you treat both of them the same way. Just because one child is a little younger, you cannot pamper that child. The older child feels very, very, hurt. The child feels, I'm being treated very unfairly. And the older child is not an old child. The younger child would be 2 years and the older child would be 4 years. Is a 4-year-old child an old child? That is also a baby. Remember, you have two babies in the house, and both the babies need to respect each other's space. and each other's things. No, they cannot touch it. The older one cannot touch the younger one's things without permission, and the younger one cannot touch the older one's things without permission. And give both of them equal attention. And when both of them misbehave, discipline both of them in the same way. Okay? One of the main reasons for sibling rivalry is unjust, and you're treating the younger one as a favorite. And you're taking away all the things that belong to the older one and giving it to the younger one. If the younger one wants the older one's things, ask permission of the older one. Is it okay? If the older one says no, that's it. Let the younger one throw a temper tantrum. If you want to discipline your child, you need to get used to temper tantrums, because that is the way your child emotionally blackmails you, especially when there are people around. When you're in a public place, that's when they want to throw a temper tantrum. Get used to it. Don't get blackmailed. Okay? Another cause for trauma is the birth or the impending birth of a new child. Involve the first child in the coming of the second child. In every way, involve the child. Keep telling the child, this little baby is going to be your sister, your brother. And every time you go to the hospital, take this little child, because when each time you go to the hospital, the mother goes to the hospital, the other child is convinced, my mother is not going to come back, my mother is very sick. When you have your morning sickness, the child is convinced you're very sick. Tell the child, I'm not sick. Don't push away the child. Involve the child completely in the coming of the second child. And when the little child is born, the first person who should hold the newborn baby is the older child. Involve the older child in nursing the younger child, in helping you take care of the younger child. Don't push away the older child. This causes so much of trauma to the older child. We don't realize it because the child cannot express. The child is only acting it out. And another mistake we make is, if the older child is a girl and the younger child is a boy, the younger child becomes the pet, the favorite, and the older child, who is the girl, feels so neglected and hurt. No, treat whether your child is a boy or a girl, treat them equally. Boredom. Very often, because children do not have anything creative to do and they're very bored, they start becoming mischievous. Make sure that you have a set of very creative activities for your child to do, and do it with your child. Don't ask your child to do it by himself or herself. To some extent, get involved in the creative activities, okay? Being left alone for long periods of time, this is not really healthy for a child at all. Even if you have a very loving caregiver, for the child, nothing can replace the parent. So even if you're going to be leaving the child alone for long periods of time, please connect with the child throughout the day. And the minute you come home, put everything aside and just be with your child for an hour. That 1 hour is the child's time. Because if the child has missed you for the whole day, it has the right to your time once you come back. Please, parents, don't get involved, with your own comfort. Oh, I have a headache. I want to lie down. I want a cup of tea. Please leave me alone. I have a backache. I had a bad day at work. That's not your child's problem. What you did at work, how bad, how good your day was, is not your child's problem. You come home, your time is your child's time. Please understand this. Otherwise, your child is going to be very traumatized and is going to start misbehaving. Lack of creative stimulus. Just putting them in front of the TV is not good for them. You need to take them out. You need to expose them to so much. Give them physical activities to do. Give them creative activities to do. Talk to them. Question them. Talk about things that maybe might stimulate their creativity. Do small experiments at home. Loneliness. Single children are generally a little bit more troublesome than children who have siblings, because they're very lonely and they want the adult to play with them like a child, and the adult can't do that. So address this loneliness. Make sure that there are other children for your child to play with. Very often, being bullied. You see, when a child is bullied, the child can't express the fact that another human being is treating them very badly, is calling them names, is teasing them, is mimicking them, is labeling them, is humiliating them. And when this adult is a family member or a sibling, the child feels very helpless. And I think you need to really observe whether there's any kind of bullying happening within the family, or in the child's play space, or in the child's school, and nip it in the bud, because this is very traumatic for a child. Ridiculing, we adults do that all the time. Ridiculing a child and thinking we are very funny. We are not funny. For example, teasing a child is ridiculing a child. Don't tease a child. Don't say things that, just because you want other adults to laugh, don't make your child the target. Sometimes we give labels to the child, thinking it's very funny. The child doesn't think it funny. I mean, you may think it funny and you may say, no, I'm not making fun of my child. But the child feels bad. And when you laugh at the child feels bad. Laugh with your child. Don't laugh at the child. And don't encourage anybody, especially adults in the family, to laugh at the child. The child cannot understand and the child feels very traumatized. Neglect. Sometimes we as adults are so caught up in so many things. It could be family politics, it could be work, it could be our own emotional trauma. We neglect the child. Children cannot understand. They cannot understand what we are going through, and they need not understand. It's important for you to put aside your own trauma and make sure your child gets the attention it wants. Otherwise, your child is going to be a troubled child. And then the child becomes a troublesome child. Lack of appreciation. Yes, we are very good at that. When a child does something good, we don't appreciate. But when the child does something wrong, oh, yes, we are so quick to jump on the child, to threaten, to punish. Every day, look at what the child is doing and remember the ratio and the proportion. Catch the child doing something good 5 times before you reprimand the child once. We are catching them right. Each time you catch the child right, and the message you give the child that if you do something right, I will observe and I will appreciate, the child gets into the habit of doing what is right, because the child knows that you will appreciate. Lack of positive attention. We give negative attention, we don't give positive attention. That is that is again a continuation of lack of appreciation. Give positive attention. Each time the child does something positive, appreciate. Pay attention. Speak of the action that the child has done, which is positive. Such a good boy. You played so nicely with your sister. Such a good girl. You shared your toys with your baby sister. Such a good girl. That's the way you positively appreciate and give positive attention. That's when the child begins to behave in a way that gets your attention, because the message you're giving your child is, I'm going to appreciate your positive behavior. Visits to the doctor are very traumatic for children. Visits to the hospital. Reassure your child. Nothing will happen. Instead, we threaten. I know many, many parents who threaten. I'll take you to the doctor and give you an injection. What kind of behavior is that? That is bad. Don't threaten your child. Another bad thing that most parents have is mother will tell the child, wait till your father comes. No, there is no waiting till father comes. Stop this kind of language, please. It is terrible. Visits to hospitals and visits to doctors are always very traumatic for the child. Always assure your child, nothing will happen. I will be there. The doctor is very good. The doctor will take away your pain. The doctor will take away your fever. That's the way you assure your child, rather than forcing your child. No, you have to go. You're not well. Stop crying. Put on your shoe. No. All visits to doctors and hospitals is very, very traumatic for a child. Remember that. Impending surgeries. Some children, unfortunately, may need surgeries. Some of them major surgeries, some of them minor surgeries. Full support is required because the child is so terrified. Accidents to self and others, minor or major. Even if the accident is not to the child, if the child sees an accident happening to another human being in the house or maybe outside, it traumatizes them. So tell your child that person will be okay. Don't worry, the doctor will fix the person. Or even if something has happened to the child, say, no, the pain will go away. Don't worry. This is small. This is minor. Nothing will happen to you. Always assure a child. Separation from loved ones. Sometimes children get very attached, maybe to grandparents or maybe to mama or mommy or chacha or chachu or a chachi. They get very attached. And then when they have to leave them, it can cause them a lot of pain. Deal with it gently. Tell them, yes, we'll go and we'll come back again another time. Okay. Natural disasters, especially when we watch it on TV, landslides and volcanic eruptions, and try not to show children this, because it really disturbs a child and can cause nightmares. If if unfortunately the child has seen it, reassure the child. No, we are safe here. Nothing will happen. Even those people are safe. There are people to help them. But parents, try to avoid showing your child images of natural disasters when they are very young. As they grow older, they will understand. But when they are young, they don't, and it may cause nightmares and bedwetting. Okay. So be a little careful. Physical abuse or even threats of abuse. I told you, no, one horrible threat that a lot of parents tend to make is, I'll tell your teacher, I'll take you to the doctor and give you an injection. Wait till your father comes. And the child is now terrified, waiting till father comes, hoping the father will not eat him up or eat her up. Don't do that. Do not threaten your child. It does not help the child. It only traumatizes the child. Physical abuse, no, no, no. No hitting, no punching, no pinching. Have a timeout corner. What is this timeout corner? One place in the house where you have a chair, a very safe place, a comfortable chair. And when your child misbehaves, gently take your child and put your child in that corner and tell your child, you sit here. You sit here until you are more calm. So don't call it the punishment corner. Call it the calm down corner. Don't even call it a timeout corner. Say it, call it a calm down corner. And sometimes when you're very angry, go sit in the corner. Go sit in the corner and tell your child, don't come near me. I'm going to sit here and calm down because I'm very angry. So what happens is, when your child sees you sitting down in the calm down corner when you are angry, the child realizes, I'm so angry, I better go to the calm down corner and sit there. So the calm down corner doesn't become a place of punishment or discipline. When you say timeout corner, it has a kind of a punishment kind of a punishment associated with it. Whereas if you call it the calm down corner, when your child is misbehaving, really misbehaving, take your child and put your child in the calm down corner, and you can have a nice, comfortable bean bag there and tell your child, you sit here, calm down, and then come back. And you can also go there when you're very angry, not only with your child, but with any other family member, or other family members can go there and calm down so that they don't start taking out all their negative emotions on other family members. Okay. Now, emotional abuse, ignoring the child, criticizing the child, labeling the child, humiliating the child, insulting the child. All these are instances of emotional abuse. And the child cannot retaliate, it can only misbehave because it is so hurt inside. So please see that none of these things are done to your child. Sexual abuse, I did a entire session on this. And I think you need to go back and really watch that video, because parents, it is much more common than we actually believe it to be. And it can really shatter a child because a child cannot understand. Even showing unwanted pictures to a child is abuse. Getting a child to touch himself or herself inappropriately, abuse. Many things are abuse. Please educate yourself and make sure that your child never becomes a victim of abuse. Okay. Domestic violence. If you find that people within the family, husband hitting the mother, husband hitting the wife, or wife maybe hitting, yes, it can also happen, wife also hitting the husband, or other family members hitting each other. The child may not be the victim of this violence, but when it sees this violence within the family, it becomes a very traumatized child. And then it acts out its trauma. Okay? Parents arguing, quarreling, not talking to each other. Look, fighting is normal. When we live as a family, we fight because there will be disagreements. But please keep your fight to 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And then make up. Don't use silence as a weapon. It doesn't serve any purpose. What purpose does it serve not talking to the person you've quarreled with? Express whatever you're angry about, and then forget it. Because when a child sees that parents are not talking, the child is so confused. And another worst thing that happens is mother is making the child a messenger and sending messages to father, and father is using the child as a messenger and sending messages to mother. This is not good. The child is not your messenger, and that is not something that is good for the child. Fight, argue, it's very normal, but make up and start talking. That's good. Because when a child sees that even though my parents argue for some time and then they make up and then they're okay, the child understands that I too can express my negative emotions, but I should not hold on to it and then cause a lot of trauma to myself. Family feuds, frictions, and politics, much more common than we know. When the child sees that we are not talking to some certain relatives, or certain relatives are ignoring us, or we speak ill of certain relatives, all this causes a lot of trauma to the child. It's not good for the child's emotional well-being. Loss of a loved one or caregiver. Now, isolation within the family. Sometimes a child may feel very isolated, mainly because people within the family are not giving the child the attention that the child needs. The child is not getting the love that it needs. It is being isolated. And when a child is isolated, it cannot express needs. It cannot express its trauma. It doesn't find any adult within the family to go to when it is feeling bad. Then loss of a loved one or caregiver. If a child is very attached to a particular human being and that human being either goes away or maybe dies, that also can be very traumatizing for a child. If this happens, it's very important to talk to a child and get the child to speak about how it's feeling. Initially, a child may not talk. It takes some time for the child to express. But after some time, the child will start talking about the hurt and the pain that it feels because this adult either died or because this adult either went away. Okay. Adults with mental illnesses. Now, if you have an adult with mental illness within the family, sometimes that adult may misbehave with the child. So it is important for you to protect your child and make sure that the child does not come into too much of contact with that adult. And it is also important for you to let the little child understand, once it is old enough to understand, that this adult is not well. And that is why the adult behaves like this. It's not because you're a bad boy or you're a bad girl. That person is not well. And tell this, maybe condition the child to maybe keep away from that particular adult as far as possible and not to trouble that adult. Remember, people with mental illness are going through their own trauma. Don't label them. Don't stigmatize them, and don't isolate them. They need as much love and attention as your child. But make sure that your child doesn't become a victim of their trauma and they do not cause trauma for your child. Then frightful stories, movies, and graphic images. Please do not watch scary movies with your child, or tell your child scary stories, or show your child scary pictures. Children have very vivid imaginations, and they are convinced that this terrible, horrible thing is going to happen to me. They'll start having nightmares. Their sleep gets disturbed. Adult sorrow and trauma. Sometimes adults um, tend to make children their sounding board. What do I mean by a sounding board? They'll sit and talk to the child about all their sorrow and all their trauma and how unfair life has been. That's not what you do with a child. Don't talk to the child about your sorrows. Yes, once in a while you can express your maybe whatever is troubling you to a child, but that shouldn't become a habit with a child, because the child internalizes that trauma. Adult complaints. We adults are complaint boxes. Nothing satisfies us. And then we tell the child, this is not good, that is not okay, this is horrible, this is terrible. And the child looks at you and then picks up your behavior and starts complaining and feels that everything is bad in life. And I have the right to complain. And then the child grows up with a sense of expectation. Nothing is okay, everything is horrible. Look at the way we are conditioning a child. And then we say children misbehave because we are conditioning them in a particular way. Invasion of space. Remember, every child needs to have a space that should not be invaded. Do not touch a child if the child does not want to be touched. Do not hug and kiss a child if a child feels uncomfortable. Even when relatives and people come, if they hug and kiss your child and your child is uncomfortable, you can make sure that your child expresses the discomfort and then tells people, no, I don't want to be kissed. I don't want to be hugged. Your child has the right parents. They don't want it. They don't want it. Please respect your child's space, physical space, because very often children really don't like being touched, especially by strangers. Okay? Lack of control over one's life, too many rules and regulations and no choices. I told you, even we as an adult, when we do not have choices or when we feel that we have no control over our lives, we feel helpless. It's the same with your child, okay? So make sure that you give your child some control over life and choices. Then overwhelmed by a task, I told you, excuse me, when a task is too much for a child, the child becomes cranky, irritated, angry, stubborn. So make sure you help a child. New places and new people. Whenever there is a change of place, whenever the child meets new people, it always bothers a child. So don't force a child to say hello to that new auntie and the new uncle because the child doesn't want to. Children are not comfortable with strangers. They need time to get used to strangers, okay? When a routine is disturbed, children want routine. It makes them feel safe and secure. And when that routine is disturbed, they will feel insecure and they will start misbehaving. So remember, routine is very important for your child. Now, what I would like you to do is please identify. Now, I've given you a whole lot of factors. There could be others, but please identify what factors in the house or within the family is causing emotional trauma to your child. You need to take care of that trigger. If you take care of that trigger and also on a daily basis, if you allow your child to express negative emotions, things that are bothering the child, people who have hurt the child, things that the child feels I'm not comfortable with, or things that are frightening the child, you'll find that when a child knows that I have a space to express these emotions, I need not act out my emotions, the child will stop acting out the emotions. Now, you need to make a platform for your child to express these emotions, plus identify triggers that are causing these negative emotions in your child. Okay? And also, what are the things that you do or say that makes your child feel valued and respected? So remember, one is you're removing those negative triggers and you are nurturing positive triggers. When you remove negative triggers, you are taking away the negative feelings that are triggering bad behavior. And when you are nurturing positive triggers, you are also nurturing positive behavior in the child. So this is what you really need to be focusing on. Okay. Now look at the bad ways that we adults try to fix bad behavior in a child. Okay. When you are angry with the child, what do adults do? Both at home and in school, look what we do. We think that by doing this, we can change the child's behavior. We cannot. One is lecturing. Don't you know how to behave? You're old enough. Don't you understand what is good behavior, bad behavior? It'll go through one ear and come out through the other ear. Threatening. If you do this, I'll do this. Name calling. Lazy, good for nothing. And of course, I don't want to talk about all the other worse names that we call. Silence. When you're angry with the child, you stop talking to the child. What purpose does it serve? Parents, if you ask me, should I not talk to my child or should I give my child one whack on the leg? I will say, hit your child on the leg. Don't use silence. Silence, the child does not understand. Express your anger at the child's behavior, not at the child. Tell the child, I am angry because you did this, but I love you. But what you did, I'm very angry with you. Demanding, excluding. Okay, because you're angry, You ignore the child and you give attention to somebody else. Demanding, do this right now. Nagging, how many times have I told you to finish your homework? Go finish your homework. Comparing, why can't you be like your sister? Your sister is so neat and you are so disorganized. Well, your little child is not sister. Sister is sister and your little child is little child. Don't compare. I told you, apples and oranges are different. Guilt trip. What is this guilt trip? If you keep behaving like this, I'm going to get a heart attack and die. That's what's called guilt tripping. Criticizing. Nothing satisfies us. Look at your hair, look at your face, look at your clothes. Your handwriting is not good. Is that the way to eat? Humiliating. Oh, you think you're very clever. Look at your marks. Spanking. I told you, if you ask me, should I stop talking to my child or should I give my child one whack on the leg? I will take the whacking on the leg rather than the silence. Okay. Grounding. Grounding means when you tell your child, you are not going out. I'm not taking you out. Stay in the house. And sometimes maybe, I hope you all don't do this, maybe locking the child up in a room. I hope none of you do this. That's terrible. Loss of privileges. Okay, if you do this, I'm going to take away your TV. If you do this, I'm not going to give you ice cream. Punishing. I told you punishing is making the child pay for a bad action. Pleading, please, please, please do this. Because this is what you're supposed to be doing. Stop pleading with your child. Please do this. If you're a good child, please do this is not the way to talk to a child. And flunking. Flunking is failing. That's particularly for schools. Children don't fail. Schools fail. Every child can do a particular task, any task, provided you know how to break down that task into doable tasks. But schools don't have the patience. So what do? They fail the child, okay? Now, if you look at the bottom, I'm going to read there. These may temporarily reduce or stop the child's problematic behaviors. However, none of these solutions, that is the solutions that are on top, resolve the underlying primary problems, and it promotes relapse. Remember, you need to help the child maybe modify that behavior. Maybe help the child say, if you do this, this is the better way of doing it. If you do this, this will be the outcome. We don't do that. We never do that. We never tell the child, rather than doing it like this, do it like this. We only tell the child, don't do this. I will punish you. So what you really need to be focusing on is helping your child to develop the correct kind of behavior. So when your child is doing something wrong, don't punish. Tell your child, no, that's not the way to do it. Look, I'll show you how to do it. Do this. So each time you find your child doing something that perhaps is incorrect, just teach the child how to do it correctly rather than threatening punishment. Okay. Now, a child who feels valued and respected rarely displays behavior problems because she or he, look at this, a child who feels valued and respected rarely displays problem behavior because she or he feels in control of her or his life. Parents, give control of life to your child. Let your child make decisions. Give your child choices. Once your child can do something, let your child do it. Give your child chores. Make your child part of the family. Take your child's opinion. Make sure your child feels safe and protected. Make sure that your behavior is making your child feel confident. If you are happy and calm, your child feels happy and calm. Make sure that your behavior and your attitude towards your child builds self-esteem and self-worth. And remember, teach your child to love himself or herself. Again, that's a session that I've done with you. And always raise a child who treats others the way he or she wants to be treated. Your family environment should not be a source of threat to your child. Your child should never feel threatened either by you or by any other family member. The house should always be a very safe environment for your child. Okay? Help your child express emotions. I told you, if a human being at a young age does not express negative emotions, as it grows up, those negative emotions will express themselves in very ugly ways, antisocial behavior, mental health problems, not succeeding in life, unable to express emotions and being absolutely a closed human being, not realizing one's potential. So get into the habit of sitting every day with your child and expressing emotions, especially things that have hurt you, things that have hurt the child. That is very important. Make your child feel loved and valued. Listen, even if you don't agree. You may not agree with what your child is saying, but listen. Appropriate privacy and freedom. Your child has the right to privacy. When your child is having a bath, even if you're bathing the child, make sure that other adults don't walk into the bathroom. And some amount of freedom, very important. Help your child work through feelings of anger. Yes, if a child is hurt and angry, help your child work through it and then make that feeling less or make that feeling go away. Okay? Be a good example. Have fun with your child on a daily basis. Think of fun things to do with your child. Don't be such a serious parent. Life goes on, the good and the bad. Some days are good days, some days are bad days. Make sure you have fun with your child. Communicate with respect. Teach your child to assert needs and boundaries effectively. Very, very important. Make sure that your child expresses a need. Something simple as, I want to sit here and I want some space. I don't want anyone sitting near me. Your child wants that space. And then when a child wants boundaries, I don't want people touching me. I don't like people kissing me. I don't like people hugging me. Respect your child's boundaries. Respect your child's space. I don't like people touching my toys without asking me. These are the boundaries and spaces that you must respect of your child. I don't like anybody coming into the bathroom when I'm having a bath. I don't like all this. I don't like XYZ pinching my cheeks. Children don't like their cheeks pinched. I don't know why we adults do it. Okay. Validate the child's feelings. Maybe a child may come to you crying and saying, my friend didn't talk to me today. And then what you do is you get angry. So what if that person did, if that whoever XYZ is didn't talk to you, also don't talk. It is okay. XYZ will talk to you tomorrow. That's not what your child wants. What your child is trying to tell you is, I am hurt. So you as a parent, validate that feeling. So you're very hurt. You're very hurt that your friend didn't talk to you. Yes, I also will be very hurt. I wonder why he or she didn't talk to you. That's the way you talk to your child. Then your child will sit and tell you why. The child will start guessing why that friend did not talk. Validate your child's feelings. Feelings and pain is very age specific. For your 3-year-old child, if the Barbie doll's hand is broken, it is tragedy. Then later on in life, for your 10-year-old child, if his friends don't take him to be part of the cricket team, it is tragedy. And then for your teenage child, if all the friends go off for a movie and don't take him or her, that is a big tragedy. And for you, if you lose your gold chain, that is tragedy. But for your 3-year-old child, the gold chain it's of no value. Remember, pain is age specific. And that is something that you need to realize as a parent. Something that seems a little silly to you could be very heartbreaking for your child. Validate the feeling. Okay? And respect your child's point of view. Always look at things from your child's point of view. It may be different, but at least look at it and talk about it. Okay? Accept your child's dreams and fantasies. Children's dreams and fantasies change every day. So one day your child may say, I want to be a bus conductor. You don't get angry. No, you can't be a bus conductor. You have to become a doctor. It's okay. Go with that dream. Go with the fantasy. It's not going to be permanent. It'll change every day, every month, every week. Okay? Spend quality time with your child. Parents, every day for an hour, it is bonding time with your child. If you can make it more than an hour, I'll be very happy. Minimum 1 hour, okay? Tell your child the behavior is unacceptable, but you still love your child. So whenever you are disciplining your child, or maybe you are reprimanding the child for unacceptable behavior, tell the child specifically why you're angry. I'm angry because you did this. I'm angry because you said this, but I love you. I don't like the way you're behaving, but I love you. Okay? And never use silence and ignoring tactics. It is counterproductive. Whether it is with your child or with a family member, silence does not work. It is absolutely foolish. Okay? Involve your child in household chores because it gives the child a sense of belonging, a sense of importance. I am important, and what I do in the house is important, and I am needed in the house. Children who do chores on a regular basis grow up with a sense of responsibility. Let your child make decisions relating to his or her, maybe little things that are important to him or her. Educate your child about why things have to be done in a certain way and the consequences of not doing them like that. We give them, a lot of orders and instructions and commands. We don't tell them why. If you explain to a child why, the child will always do that work in that particular way, because the child understands, if I don't do it in that particular way, this is the consequences. Plan for safe, fun activities, water play, pillow fights, mud walks, sand castle. Children need to get dirty. Children need to have fun in dirt. They cannot always be neat and orderly. So plan for fun activities where they can get themselves dirty and get rid of all that excess energy on a daily basis. They need to do that. Otherwise, they'll get bored, they'll get cranky, and they'll start troubling you. And plan for creative activities with your child. I told you, if your child doesn't have any creative stimulus, the child gets bored and the child becomes troublesome, and you will get angry, and then you will think of very creative punishments for your child. Offer choices and provide alternatives. Okay, you know uh, choices should be limited, specific, and acceptable. Okay, for example, maybe you all were planning to go out and it starts raining, so you had to cancel it, and your child is so angry. First, validate your child's feelings. Yes, you're very disappointed, you're very sad, we were supposed to go for a picnic, but look at the weather, it's raining. Now, can we do something else inside the house? Can we have a picnic inside the house under a tent? So maybe you can make, and you don't have to buy a tent for that. Your own dining hall table can become the tent. You can put a bed sheet, and under the table you can have your picnic, and it becomes a alternative choice for your child. Okay, and then you can involve your child in cooking all the sandwiches for the under the table picnic. That's all. And if you really have a tent is easily available. You can buy it for 200, 300 rupees, and maybe you can have a picnic in a tent, maybe in your garden outside, or maybe somewhere in the house, or maybe on the terrace. Why don't you have a picnic under the tent at least once a week or once in 2 weeks? Parents, is it very difficult? Notice good behavior and name exactly what your child did right. If you just say, oh, you're a good boy, you're a good girl, it doesn't make sense to a child. Tell your child why you are calling him or her good, what he or she did. Was the child neat, or was the child kind, or was the child loving? Or did the child take a cup of tea for grandfather or grandmother? What did the child do? The child wants specifics. That specific is important for the child. Use positive statements. As soon as you put your toys away, we'll go to the park. So, you are telling the child, this is what we will do if you do this. And always it's a positive thing that we're going to do. So don't say, if you don't put away your toys, we don't go to the park. Counterproductive. Okay. And both captains speak in one language. Mother and father, same language. Mother can't say one thing and then father can't contradict it. Then you're giving a double message, and then children are very, very cunning. They'll start playing mother against father and father against mother. So when they want something, they'll say, Appa said this, Mummy said this, Daddy said this, Papa said this. So children start playing mother against father. So don't do that. Involve your child in genuine community service from a very young age. Parents, if y'all get into the habit of doing social service and involving your child, the child grows up with a sense of giving, with a sense of gratitude, with a sense of compassion, which all goes towards making this wonderful, wonderful human being. And children who are involved in community service are always less badly behaved, much more well behaved than children who are not involved in community service. Practice saying no. Once in a while, yes, say no. No, I'm not going to buy you ice cream today, and give a reason. Because you had ice cream yesterday, and then if you keep eating junk food, you are going to fall sick. You know what junk food does? It destroys your cells. And then you will start getting a cold, and you'll start getting a headache or fever. So instead of an ice cream, can I make something very nice for you in the house? And incidentally, parents, a little bit about this pizza and burger binging with your children. Please learn to make healthy pizza and burgers at home with whole grain wheat. I often see KFC and Pizza Hut full of little young children, which is so bad for them. Okay, encourage a try and try again attitude. It's okay to fail. Let your child enjoy failing, and have small little tasks where your child fails and then tries again and then succeeds. Okay, make them think things out. All this actually stimulates creativity. Compliment your child for good behavior. Connect before connecting. I love you, but the answer is no. I love you very much. You're a very precious child, but no, you cannot have a chocolate. You cannot have an ice cream, because give the reason. Okay? But first, the message is I love you. You're a wonderful child. But no, this, no, you can't have it. Okay? Now here are some strategies for positive self-discipline. If your child is hitting, get down. And remember another thing, parents, don't ever talk down to your child. Always get down, look your child in the eye, and then talk to your child. Okay? So if your child is hitting, get down to your child's level, firmly no hitting. Remove your child from that situation and put your child in that calm corner. And then make sure you have a hitting space or a hitting corner and hittable toys. So tell your child, if you're angry, I know you're angry, that's why you're hitting. Go, take your bat and go hit your big teddy bear. So have a hitting teddy bear, and let the child go hit the teddy bear until the child calms down. Okay? Then if you find that your child is snatching something away from another child, gently take it from your child and return the object. And if your child throws a temper tantrum, ignore. Okay? Nothing will happen if your child cries and screams for some time. Interrupting when you're talking to adults. Even before you start talking, parents, if you can keep your child creatively occupied, that is good. But if your child interrupts, listen for a moment, and if it's a genuine interruption, answer your child, and then tell your child, don't disturb me for 5 minutes, I am talking. Just do this, and then continue talking to the adult. Okay? And then make sure that your child is kept engaged while you are talking to an adult. Otherwise, your child is going to be troublesome. So even before you engage with another adult, make sure that your child's needs are met, either for attention or to be kept creatively engaged before you talk to that adult. Punching, shoving, pinching. Firm instructions, no. Remove the child from that situation. Even if the child is punching you, remove the child from the situation, put the child in that calming corner. Once your child calms down, sit and talk to your child why the child was punching and pinching. Remember, it is self-defense. Your child is feeling threatened. Your child is seeking revenge because the child is hurt. So you need to talk about why the child was punching and pinching and hitting. And then give the child other alternative coping strategies. Tell the child, look, if this person starts hitting you, first say, stop, don't hit me. If the child does not stop, tell the child, I will go and tell, and then name an adult. I will go and tell granny, I will go tell my father, stop. If the child continues to hit your child, tell your child, remove yourself from that place and go and tell an adult. So give your child coping alternate strategies of self-protection, because if you do not give these strategies, the child will protect in a way that the child knows, by pinching and punching and shoving. Okay, so first verbally protect yourself, and then seek the protection of an adult. Pretending not to hear you. Sometimes you're talking to your child and the child just ignores you. Walk up to your child and talk. If the child is doing something, say, look, you have 5 more minutes to play, and then we will have to do this. And after 5 minutes, very gently take away the toy, keep it, and lead your child to do whatever he or she has to do. Ignore temper tantrums, okay? Disrespectful behavior, imitating, mocking, no. The minute you see it, nip it in the bud. And then talk to your child how people feel when you imitate them or mock them or make fun of them. Ask your child, how do you feel when this is done to you? We don't do it to other human beings. Exaggerating the truth. This is very common for children. So listen. And then, you can also be very humorous. You can ask your child, okay, in all this, give me 3 things which is actually correct. And the child might give you 2 or 3 things which is actually correct in this whole big tale that the child has come up with. Okay. You can also tell your child, if you keep on exaggerating the truth, then people will stop believing you. Okay. And encourage your child always to keep to facts rather than exaggerating the truth. Okay. Now, very often your child may be very stubborn. Stubborn children are trying to get control over their lives. They feel, I have no control over my life. So instead of labeling your child and saying how stubborn you are, find out what the child is trying to get control over. The child wants to make some decisions. The child wants to have some say in his or her life. So ask them their opinion, give them choices. That is important. If you don't do that, the child becomes so stubborn. And there is a saying, if you label a child, the child will prove the label. So if you keep giving the child negative labels, the child will prove the label. Isn't it better to give positive labels? You're a good child. You're very kind. You're very helpful. If you keep on giving positive labels, the child will prove that label. Too much TV. Clear rules for the whole family. Switch off the TV at a particular time and have program schedules and let your child know, I can watch TV only from this time to that time. And if you plan for a lot of outdoor activities, children won't be glued to the TV. It's because we don't stimulate them creatively. If children are stimulated creatively, they don't want the TV. And that's one of the reasons why we tell parents, please stimulate them creatively. Make sure they're into some kind of a physical activity. In a day, they should be playing outside for at least 1 to 2 hours. You need to provide for this. Otherwise, they'll be glued to the TV. Okay? Nurture a love of reading in your child. Even when the child is in the womb, you can start reading stories. Start reading stories even to the newborn child. Let a child grow up with books. And reading just before the child goes to sleep should become a daily habit with you. If you do that, your child will start reading by himself or herself by the time the child is 5 or 6 years old. And children who love books don't want TV. They prefer books to TV because that is more creatively stimulating than a book. Okay, fussy eaters. Don't put too much on their plate. Give them small proportions. Make that plate look very attractive. So if you can put the food in such a way that it looks like a face on the plate, and you can sit with your child and talk while the child is eating, because when a child is talking and eating, they tend to eat a lot. Okay. And then if a child really does not want to eat, no problem. If the child eats very little during one meal, the child will make up during the next meal. Don't force feed a child. Okay. But it is very important to limit the portion, make it look very attractive on the plate, and make sure that the food you give a child is tasty. Always eat the food that you're giving the child before you give it to the child, and make sure it's really tasty and palatable. Okay. Wardrobe battles. You want your child to wear something, and your child wants to wear something else, and there a battle begins. So I think even the previous day, you sit with your child and decide what the child wants to wear, and keep it out. And if you think that one particular pant you don't approve of it, you can always make a suggestion. This pant, you don't look very good in it, whereas this pant you really look so handsome, or this dress you look so beautiful. So rather than forcing a child to wear a particular dress, try and give it a more of a positive twist and compliment a child by saying that this dress looks beautiful on you, or this pant makes you look very handsome, and then your child might want to wear that particular clothing. And sometimes they don't want to wear warm clothes, primarily because a little child's body gets heated up very quickly. Okay, so if they don't want it, okay, let them feel cold, but keep that jacket or sweater with you so that when the child feels cold, you give it to the child. Homework hassles. Little children cannot sit for more than 5 to 10 minutes doing homework. And what you'll really need to do is break up the task into doable tasks. Okay. Maybe after 10 minutes, give a break where the child runs around the table and sing songs or play a song, play a song and tell the child, okay, we listen to the song, we'll dance. Once the song gets over, you can continue your homework. And maybe you can have a fun place, and always have a particular place, a very attractive place where the child does homework. And sit with your child as far as possible when the child is doing homework, because the child wants your attention. The child wants you to sit with him or her. So finish all your work. And there are so many creative ways to teach your child. Okay. If you, for example, there's tables with bouncing a ball. As your child is bouncing a ball, they can say their tables. 2 ones are 2, 2 twos are 4, 2 threes are 6. So make it fun. Or maybe dancing and saying the tables, something like that. Whining, just because they're bored. Okay. So tell your child, stop whining. If you whine, I cannot understand. Stop whining and tell me why you're whining. Find out why the child is whining. You meet that need. You meet that need, and then you'll find that your child will stop whining. Okay. And if your child whines, just ignore. So the message you give your child is, you whine, I will ignore. If you talk properly, I will give you attention. And then the child will get into the habit of talking properly rather than whining. Okay. Throwing things. What is the reason? Angry, frustration, and sometimes just to see what will happen. Very clear rules about throwing. First, acknowledge the feeling. Yeah, your child is angry. Yes, I know you're angry, but you cannot throw things and break them to show your anger. Keep some throwable toys and have a throwing space, and tell your child, okay, these are the 5 toys you can throw. Go to your throwing corner and keep throwing it until your anger goes away. Okay. Talk to your child about the consequences of throwing things. But most important of all, please find out what made your child so angry that the child wanted to throw things. Acknowledge the feeling, work through it until your child feels better. Mistakes. We all make mistakes. So if it's a genuine mistake, no, don't punish your child. Maybe the child made that mistake out of curiosity, or maybe the child wanted to explore. Okay. And the last meal that the child had, sit with your child and ask. I mean, in fact, all of y'all can sit together and y'all can ask each other, tell me one mistake each of you made today. Tell me one thing that hurt you today. Tell me one thing that made you happy today. It's very important to talk like this to each other, sharing the day, sharing feelings, expressing hurt, expressing joy. When you do this, then you go to bed very peaceful. Otherwise, you carry all that pain to bed and you don't really sleep well. So let it become a habit with you and your child to speak about the day before you all go to bed. It is a kind of a cleansing procedure, both for the child as well as for the adult. And it becomes a habit with the child. The child won't bottle up pain. Remember, when a child doesn't bottle up pain but expresses it, the feeling, that bad feeling comes down. And when the bad feeling comes down, the bad behavior also comes down. So that is very important for you to do on a daily basis. Okay. Fix the behavior. Love your child. Enjoy the childhood. It will never come back. Parents, 10, 15 years from today, when your child is grown up and doesn't have time for you, you will regret that you did not spend enough time with your child. Enjoy today. Enjoy your child. Enjoy your child's childhood. It will never come back. Be a happy parent. Okay? So with this, thank you. I will end the session and let me get back to y'all and I'll take questions.
You can stop sharing, ma'am.
Huh? I have to stop sharing.
Yeah, you can stop sharing.
I stop sharing. I want to share or what?
Yeah, just stop share.
Just one. Let me how to. Okay, I've stopped sharing. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Am I back with y'all?
Yeah. 100%. You're back with us, and 1 minute. Okay. So, my dear parents, how has been the session so far? In fact, I've attended these kind of sessions n number of times, but I can promise you that this particular session I'll be watching it at least about 10 times. Okay. And my children are 11 years old and 16 years old. We've been implementing a lot of things. We think that we have given our best, but still, when ma'am is talking it out, there is so many bulb on moments for me. I keep talking about these bulb on moments, right? So as long as you guys are in that learning mode, I don't mind. This is a session which you need to be watching it at least about 5 to 6 more times. And I can promise you, if you do it, maybe if you can probably take some notes. And I don't think you'll have any other issues of most of your concerns on parenting that would have been answered with this session itself. Okay. So 1 minute, it seems to be having some issue with my, okay, 1 minute. Yeah. Ma'am, shall we take up 1 or 2 questions or shall we take up another?
Yeah, we'll go ahead.
We'll only on Q&A. Probably I can ask every Thursday we have a Q&A session. Probably I can ask all, maybe we'll spend another 10-15 times. Now time is 6:50, 6:45, and we can spend around 15 minutes till 7 o'clock. We can go ahead and we will take up maybe about 4 to 5 questions. I just want parents with the questions to put their names on the chat box. And I'll call out your names and you can also unmute and you can ask your questions. Do it as soon as possible. The first 4 or 5 names we'll be able to take. Just go ahead, put your names in the chat box. You're feeling good, ma'am? Seems to be having a little bit of
I forgot
cough.
my water bottle.
Okay, we'll wait.
It's okay.
Not an issue. Please go carry on. Please
no, it's okay. Another 15 minutes, I'll finish it off.
Okay. So I'll just call out the first name. What I have is Mr. Kumar Deep Mujamdar, and the next is going to be Divya, Smita, and Tejas and Shirinja. Obviously, we have many parents with a lot of questions. I can promise you that we'll be having another Q&A session, probably which is going to happen on this Thursday. With ma'am's permission, if possible, I'll try to bring her on and let's have another Q&A session only regarding this alternative to punishment. Having said that, let me take 1 or 2 questions today as well. Mr. Kiran Mujamdar, you can probably unmute yourself. I'll give you the access to unmute. Just 1 minute. You'll be able to unmute now. I don't want everybody to unmute yourself. I want only Mujamdar to unmute, and you can just keep your question very short, maybe not more than 10-15 seconds, and let's focus more on the answers. Please go ahead.
Right, ma'am. Sir, both of you, good evening to both of you. I'm Kumardeep Mujumdar.
Mr. Kumar, go ahead. You can also, if you want.
I stay away from my family. I occasionally meet them because of the job nature, and I mean, she misses me a lot. My kid is just 3 years, 4 and 7 months old, and she misses me a lot. So how to manage that?
Yes, I think it is something that a lot of parents are facing, and digital really cannot replace the real person. What I would ask you to do is please FaceTime on your phone at least 5 to 6 times a day until she goes to sleep. The fact that you talk to her and keep in touch with her gives her a sense of comfort and a sense of security. So FaceTime with her as much as you can, and as much as you can, if you can make sure that you keep in touch with her, that's also very good for the child. But your situation is very common, and this is the only thing I can tell you, and I can't tell you anything else. How often do you meet her physically? How often do you meet her?
Maybe just once in fortnight, or maybe once in a month or so.
Once, that one day that you meet, let it be her day. Let her, but FaceTiming every single day, as many times as you can. When is she generally awake and ready to talk and chat with you?
I mean,
What are the what?
she gets up early in the morning. That's by 7 o'clock, and then I keep talking with her maybe 3-4 times at least.
Do you FaceTime or just talk? Does she see your face?
Yes, on the chat and voice chat, on the video chat only.
It's important for a child to see your face when she's talking, because audio for a little child, they can't relate. They can't relate to the audio. That's all I can tell you. And when you come, let that day be her day. That's very important.
The only
I know it.
thing,
I know
once
it.
I mean, I try to spend as much as time possible once I go home, but once I come back, she starts missing me a lot, and she throws temper tantrum like anything for 2 days, 3 days. So, I mean, I understand that's probably quite normal, but I feel bad also that I'm not able to give her time.
I know
And
that.
that
That's all you
probably
can do.
is
I
not
know.
good for her
Do
too.
your best. Do your best,
Yes,
Mr.
That's all.
Kumar.
That's all.
Every
That's
day,
all.
15, 20
right.
minutes. Exclusive. Don't involve even your
Right.
spouse. Just have some kind of a one-to-one conversation with your child. A video call, probably, wherein only you and your child interact with each other. Okay.
Well, thank you so much. It was a wonderful session, ma'am.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Divya, you're ready now?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, Mrs. Divya, please unmute yourself. If you want, you can also open up your video and have a word with me.
Yeah, I'm ready to ask me a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Actually, my son is 4 years old.
Huh.
But sometimes while he's writing, he's writing a reverse way, like a mirror image.
Okay. Okay.
When I ask him to write the 6, he is writing in the 6 in the opposite way. Like
what you do is you take an A4 sheet of paper, divide it into 2. Okay. No, first you take a you know that slate. You know the slate.
Yeah,
the little slate that you get. You take the slate, divide it into 2. Okay. On the left side, you draw that whatever he's reversing, 3. Let him take a small little chalk. Let him write on the 3 at least 10, 20 times and say 3, 3, 3. And then let him write the same thing on the right side. You know what I'm saying? That slate, you divide it into 2. You draw a line in the middle of the slate. Did you understand? Okay. On the left half, you draw 3. Your child keeps on writing 3, 3, 3 on the left side, repeating 3 20 times. Then the child has to take the chalk piece and write 3 on the right side in the blank space on the right. If you do this, first do it with a slate. Okay. Then do it with an A4 sheet of paper. If you do this, you'll find that the child will overcome the reverse thing. Now, when you do this, what happens is that 3 pattern has to actually form in the brain of the child. It is a pattern that is forming in the brain. So that is why we ask you to repeatedly get the child to draw that thing. First, begin with a slate because of the rough surface, then go to an A4 sheet of paper, and the child will overcome this. It's quite normal. Many children have this problem. It's quite common. Don't worry. Okay. But if you do this, the child will overcome. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Smita. Welcome, Mrs. Smita. You're there?
Hi, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful session. It was really, so many bulban moments were there. So one thing I'd like to ask in the sense, we also at our home, my in-laws are there. We teach our kid on a reasoning basis only. But after teaching him and telling him why he can't do some things, then too he sticks to it. And sometimes my husband and me will have to forcefully, will have to resort to beating. So how we can avoid him so that he doesn't get into that, our patients also will not lose.
Give me an example, please. Give me an example where he had to be beaten.
Okay. For example, we say he can't, what to say, he has to write and do the homework, or for example, he cannot eat something. Those things we educate him. He cannot do this. Okay, why it will happen if he eats this? What will ice creams or anything? We will tell him. Keep on telling him for half an hour, but he doesn't listen. He just want that to be done. And we if it is for the sake of homework also, let's say 2 days, 3 days, he keeps telling, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it in some time, mom, like that he says. We will also keep him time, okay? But until unless we take something in our hand, he doesn't sit. So how to avoid this?
Okay, homework, I told you, you need to break it up into small bits. So what you do is look at the homework and say, no, this homework you have to finish today. It's only for 10 minutes. It's only for 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, we will have a song and a dance. So break up that homework so that the child has frequent breaks. Okay. And then in between those breaks, give the child some kind of entertainment or some kind of something interesting to do. That is number one. Number two, yeah, I know ice cream. Children want to eat all kinds of unwanted food. Give him a choice of healthier food rather than ice cream. Can you give him a choice of healthier food? Give them choices, and then rather than beating, I told you, you have this little calming down corner where you put the child and tell the child, okay, if you're going to be angry, you stay there, but you need to know how to say no without getting angry. No, we love you very much, but we won't give you any more ice cream. Supposing you say no, what will he do? What does he do?
He cries non-stop or something, and this actually eating these things we can manage. We can distract him. But this homework, as I said, you 2 days, 3 days, he stops.
No, homework, you need to look at the homework and break it into small bits. That's when the child can finish it off.
Actually, let's say the homework will be given like 5 words, 6 words, right? So I say write only 5 times 1 word, okay? That also he says I'll do it later. So, but actually after attending this session, I found out that like I don't know if it is good or bad, but I started doing like I will also start doing my work and I'll tell him who finishes fast. That time he's finishing fast.
Yeah, you have your own strategies. What works with your child won't work with another child. So find out the strategies that work with your child. You're doing good. You're doing good. That's a wonderful strategy.
Yeah, please go through that rhythm. We have a session on rhythm, Mrs. Smita. Okay. These questions probably it takes more than just about 5 or 10 minutes explanation. Okay. Please watch our, there is a session on rhythm. How do you get into the children for setting them an academic schedule? Okay, once you go through the session, it's an automated program. Okay, so you will understand many techniques wherein you need to create a rhythm first.
Yeah, please share.
It is there. No. In fact, I keep having a lot of parents. Please remember, all of you are in the gold membership. Don't keep asking me, can I get the recording of this session? As a gold member, you are eligible to go through these sessions again and over again. It will all be there on the Facebook. It will also be there in the portal. If you're not got into the portal, maybe you're not been very attentive and you're not been regularly going through the messages. So there is a portal. Please go through the portal. All these recordings will be available and it's a lifetime access what you'll be having.
Okay.
I will not be, don't ask me to share. It's already available. You just have to go through it and finish it off. Yeah, Mr. Tejas. Yeah, Mr. Tejas, you're ready, Mr. Tejas?
Yes. Yeah. So, ma'am, the session was really nice. It was very informative, point one. And point two, actually, you mentioned in one of your points that, you should respect your child's privacy. If your child is not willing to share its toys, or, if he wants to be permissioned about touching his toys or anything. So we can have a rule at home, but what to do when there are people outside, or maybe friends, or your your mom, dad. So my mom, dad also may do something which he doesn't like, and you have some sort of breacher where you can't go and tell them also, because you may run into they may feel bad or something like that. So how do you handle that?
I think you as a family need to sit and decide that we can express feelings. Even your mom and dad can express feelings, and you'll have to accept. So I think if every evening you'll sit together and actually express maybe how you'll have hurt each other throughout the day. So
Okay.
if you begin by asking your family members, did I hurt you in any way today? Mr. Raghunath, I'm stealing your idea. Okay, but it's a good thing. I told you. In fact, I have been emphasizing this throughout all my workshops, how important it is to express negative feelings. So if you as a family sit together and talk about the ways you all have helped each other and hurt each other during that day, it becomes a kind of a habit, and even your parents can express. Even they have the right to express the way you all have hurt them, and y'all can express the way they have hurt you, and then your child can express the way maybe everybody has hurt the child. It should become a habit. Why do we push all this under the carpet and then later on have all kinds of other mental health issues? Speak about it and just throw it out of the window for that day. That's
Right.
important.
Right, ma'am. And ma'am, what about, there's some, so basically we can do whatever we can for our home, but what if another person or, somebody else's children is touching his toys and he doesn't like, you don't have much
And
control there, right?
no, I think you have control. You can just tell the other child, you just ask permission. If he says yes, you take it. If your child says no, sorry, please respect your child.
Okay.
Please respect your child. This, when you force a child to do something he or she doesn't want to do, they feel helpless, and it gives rise to unexpressed rage. Unexpressed rage is very bad for a human being, physically, mentally, emotionally. Don't even provide a platform for unexpressed rage in the house. Not only for your child, for anybody in the house, they have to express rage. Let it come out.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So I think that should end the session, ma'am. I think it's exactly 7 p.m. Yeah, in fact, that's a very good hack, dear parents. In fact, I just continued with ma'am's permission. I just want to take this because the topic was related to what I practice at home. You know what? All of you, please have a dinner time together, family dinner, and just do it for 1 week. Just ask another individual of the family, what is that one thing for which you want me to tell you sorry for what I did today? Okay. You have to ask your spouse, you have to ask your father, you have to ask your mother, you have to ask your child. Just tell me what is one reason for which you feel that I must apologize to you and I did something wrong. And let's not have a debate about it. Just find out what is that one reason and just say sorry and finish it. Just do it for 1 week and see what the kind of changes what it will bring about in your family relationships. You don't have to be correcting. You don't have to be giving a lot of big explanations. Just ask them, what is that one reason you want me to tell you sorry? And let that person tell you what is that reason. And you just apologize to him at that moment and end the matter. Just do it for 1 week and please give me the feedback after 1 week. And let's have another session on this topic itself. Okay. So with that, good evening, all dear parents. Happy weekend. And it's been a wonderful session with Mrs. Ma'am, can we have an announcement of a Q&A session on this, or shall we talk it over and you have to check
when do you want when do you want
Thursdays we have our mastermind session.
We can have it.
Yeah, Thursday we're going to come up with a mastermind session, as you all know, and this time the questions is going to be shot at Mrs. Dr. Lalita Apashu only regarding this punishment and alternative. But before that, please promise me, I want all of you to go through this session at least once or twice. Okay, that should be your commitment. Otherwise, we might not be so much interested, excited to have these kind of sessions. Only provided you people commit to me that you go through the recording once again. And also, I want every one of you to give your feedback. Okay, we have around 66 people, and already the number is dropped down to 33. And there are a lot of other people who will be watching it live and recording as well. And I want all of you, whoever goes through this session, to come up with one learning. Okay. Ma'am has given probably about 150 learnings, what each of us can take it with our own perception. But I want you to just come up with one top learning and put it as a comment in the link which I'm going to be sharing. Okay. This time I want it very compulsory. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to call Mrs. Dr. Lalita for a question and answer. If you want doctor to come back for a Q&A session, please make sure I need to have at least about 50 learnings from parents. Okay. I want minimum 50 comments on my link, which I'm going to be sharing with you. Just click on that link, type your one top learning. You just have to be very crisp, maybe one sentence or two sentences, and let's see how it can benefit a lot of other parents. So having said that, happy weekend. I think you're going to be watching cricket match now. It's going to start in another half an hour, those of you cricket buffs. And for others, See you all next time. Okay. Bye-bye, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And it's been a wonderful session. I'll promise that I'm going to go through this session. I'm eagerly waiting for, in fact, I was a bit sleepy the first after 15 minutes. Then I don't know. I mean, I just woke up and sat and I feel like I want to go through this session once again.
Thank you. Thank you, parents.
Thanks
Good
a
night.
lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Yeah, bye. Take care.